Hello and welcome to the Wall of Weird podcast. We're a little bit late, running a bit late, Nicole. It's just life sometimes finds a way, in the immortal words of Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park. Finds a way to kick us in the balls. But we're here. We're going to be discussing the season 2 episode Insurgence, which is, of course, the episode that was voted for by you guys, at least people who come to my channel anyway, because that's where the poll was. But Hypnotic just came within a whisker of being the one. You dodged a bullet there, Nicole. You dodged a bullet. People who didn't vote for that episode.
To the rest of our audience, they're missing something great in watching.
They are. Yeah, you're missing out on seeing Nicole have to squirm all the way through it. But yeah, that would be the face all the way through. Okay, so we are doing Insurgence. I'm just going to bring my notes up because with the 45 minutes we had when we were running late, I didn't think to do that, so it's like a well-oiled machine. Right, Insurgents, here we go. So you should know the drill by now. We go through each scene of the episode. We usually have a clip for most of them, and we just give our thoughts on it. So if that doesn't spell it out already to anybody watching, this is going to be spoilerific. If you're a new fan to Smallville and you've not got to this episode yet, probably not a good idea to watch it. In fact, if you're a new fan to Smallville and you've not seen any episode yet, we tend to spoil further seasons as well.
We don't always mean to, but things well sometimes. We have a habit of bringing up things that will happen later and things that have happened previously. I'll try not to spoil past season 6 for you, but I can't guarantee.
Yes. So that's just a warning. It's out there now. But we are Smallville diehards. There's a reason we aren't going through these in chronological order. We just jump to whatever episode we want to do, and that's because we assume everyone watching is a Smallville fan and we're going to spoil the crap out of it. So if that ain't enough warning, tough. Right, let's get to it. So first scene, we've got Lex chewing out an employee who has basically cocked up some kind of deal, which means that Lionel has got in there and taken this big contract from him. So Lex is he's chewing this guy out, and we've got a little clip of that right here.
He'd hobble you at the knees and do everything in his power to ensure you never work in the corporate world again. But I'm not my father.
Oh,
yes.
I'm not my father.
I'm not. Yeah,
deep-seated fear in Lex becoming his father, which he becomes worse. So I guess that's progress.
I feel like he takes too long to make that point there. Like he's building that up. He's making this guy sweat just so that he can tell. But just so that he can tell him, I'm not my father. Yeah, it's just like I'm making you sweat because I want you to know I'm not like my father. Well, don't make him sweat then. Come on, because that's what his father would do. Right, but yeah.
No, his father would hobble him at the knees. So I guess Lex just making him sweat and not hobbling him at the knees is mercy.
True.
But yeah,
I guess so.
He wasn't going to ruin his entire career. He wants to get to the bottom of it. But I think he does want to make people squirm. Yeah, he's like, you better be careful because...
I like watching Michael Rosenbaum chew people out. I would never want to be on the receiving end of that, but it is entertaining to watch.
Sorry, did you just call him Michael Rosenbaum?
I can never pronounce his last name, so I just say it as fast as I can every time.
I hope no one notices.
No one notices.
You could just say Rosie. Some people just say Rosie.
There we go, Rosie. No, I had a bird named Rosie. That doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah.
Lexi.
I'm never gonna say that. Okay, so this guy leaves anyway. Lex breaks a vase. He's just like really frustrated that he's been done over by his dad, and in doing so, he finds a bug, a listening device inside the vase, and clack gets there. Clack gets there. The only one who can't say names. That's clearly whatever we've been smoking. We need to stop. So Clark gets there to see Lex basically trashing the place, looking for all these bugs, and of course he uses his X-ray vision to find where there's one hidden. It somehow doesn't see a panic room in there or anything like that we will see in later seasons.
Room's in there. I don't think she got the panic room till season 6.
Oh, does she not?
The writers didn't write it yet. So
the writers haven't written it there. Yeah. There's no Veritas window or anything like that. So
right.
He finds a tiny little bug in the wall, and again, maybe begs the question, why didn't he find these sooner? I'm pretty sure he scanned Lex's place before. It feels like something he does quite regularly, to be honest. But anyway, moving on.
He should. Well,
he certainly should. He certainly should.
Except if he wants to respect privacy, I guess. But I do notice that this kind of happens a lot with the X-ray that bothers me a little bit, is that he only looks at one place. Like, that's the only thing. They don't show him scanning the room. They just show him looking at one place. Like, I understand that it could be expensive to have the effect all the way around, but could they just show him moving his
I almost have the feeling that's what he was doing, but you're right. They don't put sound effect in there. They don't put anything in there to indicate he's scanning. He just looks and goes, oh, I'll pick this spot. And I was actually thinking of it, Phil, as I was watching the episode. I was like, so weird that he picked that one spot. Maybe he was scanning, but they didn't really show
what's the chances? It's just like...
Yes, but what if there are other bugs, though, in other areas?
Exactly. His super eye would have seen it everywhere if he was scanning properly.
But he does tend to go... So, I'm assuming that when he's doing that, it's like he's doing the all over the place. But budgetary reasons and all that.
But did you see that Lex knocked over the entire pool table? I thought that was impressive.
Yeah, well, it's amazing what anger could do. You know what's funny though? I feel like Clark came in here and he's high-roading Lex a little bit. Like, really? Like, you think your dad would do that? And like, he's trying to calm Lex down. Like, so how would you feel if somebody was listening to your every private conversation and then Clark is on board immediately?
Yes, Brian, we have that clip.
We do.
Oh,
there we go.
Do? I didn't know we had that clip.
But you gotta calm down. Don't tell me to calm down, Clark. How would you feel if someone were listening to every private word you uttered? Learning all your secrets?
Learning all your
you got it.
Throw the word secrets in there, and that's it.
I suddenly care, Lex. I suddenly care about how you feel.
When he said the word secrets, I'm surprised Lana didn't go, hey, what? Secrets?
What?
Hey?
Are you guys going to talk about it finally? I'm owed it for no reason. I'm owed it.
Anyway, so we go from there to a scene in which Jonathan gets angry with when Martha bails on their anniversary date to go work for Lionel. She gets a call from Lionel. Got to go to the office. They've got important work to do. You know Lionel's picked this because he knows that it's her anniversary. He's a big grade A sleazebag. Jonathan and Martha get into a fight. Clark tries to interject, and it gives us this moment where we see that actually, as powerful as Clark is and all the good that he does, he is still the son, not the parent, and we get a great moment here. So
I never thought I'd see the day where this job was more important to you than this family.
You know what, Dad's right. You shouldn't be working for Lionel Luthor anyway.
Clark.
No, the only way that he got this major acquisition is because he was spying on Lex.
Clark, this is between your mother and I.
Yeah, it's just
Standing up for Lex.
Yeah, it's just sometimes you can forget that actually Clark is the child in this relationship.
Well, I mean, he's like 25 years old when they're filming the scene, so it's really easy to forget that yes, he is like the child in this film.
Yeah, so it's like there is a hierarchy there when it comes to as much as Clark could like just destroy these two people if he wanted to, because of who he is, how he's been raised. He he respects that authority, and there is an authority there, a parental-child relationship. They're not equals in that sense, even though most of the time they do treat him as one. But there are times such as this where actually we're reminded he is the child in this relationship.
And that's so frustrating as a child.
Sorry, what? Lisa, say that again.
Jonathan reminds Clark of the party the year before.
Yes. I'm glad they called back to that. And Nicole, what did you say?
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been in Clark's position, and it's tough.
It's like awkward.
Well, you really just no one really wants to be when in there when people are fighting, and you kind of feel like you want to smooth it out, or kind of you feel like you could maybe fix the problem, and you're the child, or like, shut up.
Yeah. Well, I also kind of like it too, because like, yes, it's the respecting of the authority, but if you think about it, Clark is unintentionally ganging up on his mother, because you already have Jonathan, who's on the opposite side of this fight, and then Clark joins Jonathan's fight because of what we learn in this opening scene. And here's like, even though Jonathan's mad, it's kind of like he's protecting his wife from being ganged up on. It's like, no, we're gonna fight this clean and fair, and this, you have no dog in this fight. Get out.
Yeah. Okay, so we go from there to a scene in which Lex basically just outright accuses Lionel, although with a whiff of innuendo, as Lionel puts it, which again, just whenever these two are on screen,
those two are on screen talking to each other, you just know this is going to be brilliant. Everybody, shut up and just listen to these two talk. Yeah,
just the way, just the way they communicate to each other is great. So Lionel's response is pretty much like this.
As for your bug problem, I suggest you call an exterminator.
Which is it's a great idea, because that's precisely what he does. He picks up the phone to a bunch of goons that he's going to send round to, tackle the problem.
I feel like I get Lex's emotional state of mind and emotionally why he's doing this. It's like the person that puts his mind for vengeance. But put aside what actually happens in this episode. Nobody could have foreseen this. Couldn't Lex have at least foreseen Lionel could be thinking, Lex is probably going to retaliate in the same way like this and just be expecting it? Why wouldn't Lionel be expecting it? And why wouldn't Lex be expecting Lionel to expect it?
Yeah, I know, but if those guys had have actually done their job, which is to just bug the place and get the hell out of there, then
Lionel would have known it was bugged. Like, you got to think that guy would have known Lex was going to do something and been prepared for whatever. Like, don't you think he would have been prepared for his office to be bugged?
See, possibly? I was thinking it possibly, but also the other side of it, how we open this episode, he said, "I'm not my father." Then what is he? The first thing he does when his father does something to him is he does exactly what his father does.
Yep.
Yep.
So much for not being your father, you know. You see, that's the thing. It's like if you retaliate, are you really any better than him then?
Yeah. With your father's methods as well. It's just like you're not just retaliating; you're actually using your father's methods. So, yeah, good call. Classic Lionel. Yeah, keeps him humble.
All Lionel's classic to me. Mercenary. He says
it's always hard to see what does he know, and
he doesn't reach peak Lionel until season 3. You know. Yeah.
Well, he always, whenever you have Lionel, you're always trying to figure out what he's thinking. You know, what does he know? What is he thinking? It's always under the surface, and he just kind of.
And of course, his mind is. I mean, his mind is all on the whole Veritas thing, isn't it? He's like, he's no one.
Okay, but let's talk about what his mind is really on. Can I? Is it too soon to ask this question? Is he blind? Or should we ask that again later?
Let's ask that later.
All right, let's ask it
later. Good question that I was thinking about.
I have a theory, and I can't wait to say it.
Okay, well, when you're ready to give your theory at the most opportune moment,
I don't know when that ever is in our discussions.
Right. Okay.
There are
Okay.
a couple of clips, Durbin, that I think will be a good question to ask. So wait till the clip comes and be like, "Do you think?"
We'll trust Nicole's judgment. Nicole, when the time comes, ask the question, and then Durbin, you can fire off your wild theories, which will be wrong. Okay, so.
I'm a bigger Smallville fan than all y'all. My gosh, I was watching this show as it aired, and you didn't even watch this particular episode as it aired. Get over yourself.
How many times have you seen it? Eh? Because at least 25 times, at least.
Even count.
Same. Right here, dude. Right here.
Number.
Who's the biggest Smallville fan? What? I've got them on DVD and Blu-ray.
I got it on half. I gave up on high def, but yeah.
Oh, you gave up? You get a real Smallville fan would not give up like that. Ah. Despicable. Right, anyway, let's get back to the show. Enough of that nonsense. So, yeah, I love... Right, I hate this scene because it's one of only 2 Lana scenes in the episode. But the opening of it really makes me laugh. Because Clark is sat there reading Families in Conflict, Healing the Rift. It's like... which is at once super cheesy, but also very in keeping, I think, with who he is as a character, which is that the moment something becomes a problem or whatever, he goes straight to the library and reads anything he can on the subject that might help him.
Does. Every time.
So yeah. This isn't the first, and it certainly won't be the last time we see him reading the most relevant book title possible for his given situation. So that made me chuckle. But the scene itself, Lana comes in looking pretty damn fine, if you like that kind of thing, and off to see her stepmom. She's going to have a meeting with her stepmom and her father, and she gets into a bit of a conversation with Clark and says that, well, she basically insinuates that Clark has the perfect family. He'd never know about the problems of not having
because problems make Lana special.
Yeah, well, this is precisely.
Special.
Durbin, curb it.
Wow. Wow.
So
I mean, the most mundane thing. He goes to just tell how biased he is. Holy cow.
Yeah. Okay. So, where are we? Oh, right. So, she basically implies that he's got the perfect family, but then Clark basically says, well, actually, just because you have a mum and dad that and everything looks perfect, they're actually fighting at the minute. Things aren't so great between them. So he kind of puts a little pin in that bubble of hers and says, you know what, you're not the only one with problems, so enjoy your date with your family. And she goes off, and she'll have one more scene later that's fairly inconsequential, but we'll get there when we get there. Yeah. So anything to say, guys, on that scene?
We got a clip. Did you
we'll throw the clip up. We'll throw the
Well, because what I want to talk about is the clip.
Lana, anyone who gets to know you realizes how special you are.
Thanks, Clark.
You're always telling me you want me to be more honest, she says after that. And
I just want to say this, and I'll be done. This whole plot line is representative of the character of Lana Lang. It is pointless, and it goes nowhere.
All right. Your blood pressure just went up.
A lot, yes.
I'll just end this scene on a question. Somebody tell me what happens to Henry Small after season 2. No? Anybody? Okay, moving on. Let's go.
Really bothered me, though. It really bothered me. And it's not the only character that just disappears.
Ups and vanishes. Especially Lana related. Nell?
Yes.
Well, what about
anyone say Nell?
Characters always vanish.
At least Nell came back for the wedding, but Chloe's dad.
Yeah, by that point, people were like, who's this woman? I'm not watching that
show. Who's
that? Yeah, who is that? Even old fans of the show are still like, if they only watched it as they aired, by the time you get to season 10, you're like, I have no clue who this chick is. Nope, nothing. So yeah.
Well, Chloe's dad just disappears one day.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, that's
no mention.
Absolutely.
Ever again.
Yeah. What happened to Chloe's dad after season 3?
Precisely. Yeah, what happened to him? Poor guy. Chloe gets married like 3 times, and he's never there to walk her down the aisle anytime.
Exactly.
Come on.
And Chloe goes into hiding after the whole, fake the death bomb explosion thing, and yet her dad is just like, nowhere to be seen.
Yeah. What's the deal there? Henry Small, Mr. Sullivan. What is with these characters that are here and gone?
I would rather they have said that he actually died in that explosion.
He had a heart. Yeah, he had.
Well, not just say it. I want to see them grieve. I mean, it's her dad.
Yeah,
I get that. Yes.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to use him, then do what Nicole said: blow him up, have an episode where we grieve, and then forget he ever existed. But
or
at least he got closure.
You have to give some explanation. Say that he got a job overseas or something. One line at least.
Luther Corp London, and he got a job there, and Chloe decided to stay so that she can raise superheroes.
Yeah, and then, when she gets married, you say, oh, my dad couldn't make it because, something.
Yeah.
Something.
Yes. Or the same thing with Henry Small. Like, maybe he got smallpox and died. So, give us something.
I'd love to see the Smallville Gazette headline on that one.
Henry Small dies of smallpox.
Smallpox for small. Right. Okay. Where are we? This is a sinking ship, really, isn't it? We've already been at it for 22 minutes, and we're barely in the instruction. Okay. There we go. I sense a 2-hour episode tonight, guys.
The Lana drop. Right. But I'm done. That's it. I got nothing.
Okay. Well, we got another scene with her later.
I already said my piece. It's useless. The next scene that we have with Lana, I'll say it now, is useless.
Yeah. Moving on. Yeah. Hold it till then, because you're going to do it again. So let's leave it. Okay. So Clark shows up at the mansion to ask Lex about the most romantic restaurant in Metropolis, because he wants to surprise his mum and dad, and he tries to get Lex to use his helicopter to help him out with it and stuff.
And I'd probably do the same.
Yeah. And then Lex gets real nervous when he finds out why, because he's like, yeah. Because he finds out that Martha's actually at Luther Corp Plaza working with my dad, who's
neither one of them should be
there
right now.
They shouldn't be there right now. So but the look on Lex's face. Here we go.
You gotta calm down. Don't tell me to calm down, Clark. I never thought I'd see the day where this job was. Hey, what are you doing?
Wrong one. I don't have it. I don't have it. Anyway, that was a bunch of superfluous clips that had absolutely nothing to do with the scene in question. But there you go.
Glorious montage.
Glorious montage. So, but his face looks something like this.
I love it. That's great. That's a great impression.
There you go.
I'm
that was pretty sure Rosenbaum would be.
That's more like that. We won't need clips again.
That's it. I'm pretty sure Rosenbaum would be very impressed with that. Rosenbaum would be very, very impressed. Okay. So yeah. Moving on. Lex calls his goons to cancel their bugging operation, but 3 of the 4 have other ideas and decide that actually we're not even here for bugging. We're here to raid the safe. So yeah, it all goes a little bit south.
Hey, what are you doing?
I think the rest of us broke into the office of one of the richest men in the world just to plant a few bugs. We ain't leaving this place until we empty that vault.
I love that intense music. Like as soon as they say that, it's like that's so great.
That guy kind of reminds me of someone. I cannot think who it is. It's just like it's like a cross between like a budget Bruce Willis and the the dude from the faculty, the teacher, who's like, don't know his name, but it bugs. He's got one of them faces that just bugs me because he looks like so many other people, which kind of means he doesn't have an identity
talking about
of his
that
own.
bald guy, right? Who wants to take over everything?
Yeah.
He doesn't look like him, but for some reason he reminds me of Fire Dude on Legends of Tomorrow and Flash on the Arrowverse. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But he has a similarity.
Yeah, he's just one of those dudes who looks like I'm the dude disguised as a dude playing another dude who looks like another dude. Whatever that quote is from Tropic Thunder. So yeah, very much so. Right. Okay, so now we get into real sleazy territory because Lionel decides to offer Martha a promotion and tempt her like the serpent in the Garden of Eden.
Yep.
Before she has time to really respond, a goon enters brandishing a gun. But let's see a little bit of that whole sleazy Lionel tempting Martha kind of stuff because it's gross.
Turn it over.
To Martha, with deep affection, LL.
What a sleaze bag.
It's like, this is a married woman. Do you honestly think
It's like
for a second... Yeah, like, do you honestly think for a second that this woman is going to wear a watch that probably costs more than her husband makes in a year?
Yep.
She's going to wear it when it says to Martha with great affection. What crack have you been smoking?
I don't know.
Seriously.
But I agree with you that he knew it was their anniversary somehow, and I think this was his intentional move to separate them so that he could try to, move in. Because it didn't even have that sleazy line like, I know you've given your life away being a farmer's wife, but you have so many talents. It's like, wow, you freaking
He
jerk.
is the creep. Let's just say it.
It reminds me of my wife. Oh.
It's just
What?
he's
Sell the watch.
I'll take the watch, sell it, buy a new tractor, yay! That can get blown up in season whatever.
And then it's funny that Martha entertains this in season 6, and I'm pretty sure. What's your name? I have not spoiled anything because if you're even halfway into season 6, you know that he's flirting with her still. Even then, it's like the creepy factor does not stop, and it's just yeah.
So a little behind the scenes thing. The Martha Lionel thing only happened because of the two actors who wanted to do that. Especially,
really?
Yeah.
They wanted to what?
They wanted to what?
All right, hold on. We felt the chemistry, and so they wanted to, pursue that avenue. And
I wonder how Michael McKean felt about that.
I don't think they meant it like that.
Yeah. Well, mind you, John Glover's gay, so I don't suppose he'd be that bothered, would he?
But it was something that wasn't originally planned in the story, and it just kind of unfolded based on the chemistry between the actors. That's
right.
Interesting.
Okay. Right. But yeah. Anyway, real sleazebag, got to be said, and not too bright. Also, got to be said. Right.
A genius in other ways, Lionel, but not bright there.
Some women might take to it, though. Those fancy gifts.
That's
true. Rich man wants me. Not Martha, though.
Is a good farm woman.
Yeah.
But if Lionel if he genuinely knew Martha in the way that he thinks he does because he's trying to woo her and stuff, then he would know she's not the kind of woman who's going to be bought like that.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So yeah. But anyway, get to one of my favourite scenes in the episode now, which is when Jonathan comes home and he finds a helicopter in his garden and
on his farm, yes.
Yeah, so he goes in, he's like, Clark, you got anything to do with this helicopter out here? And then so Lex is there with Clark. Clark's about to spring this surprise on him, but of course, as if any of us couldn't see this coming, as if Clark couldn't see this coming, Jonathan is like, Nah. No. You take your Luther money and you shove it up your ass and take it somewhere else, because I ain't having it here. Because like how they possibly thought that Jonathan would have any other reaction than the one he has here, I don't know. But it does give a really great kind of chance here for Lex to finally, for once, kind of throw some back.
I've done nothing but try to be a friend to you. And in return, you do nothing but lecture me with sanctimonious platitudes. I'm done listening to them.
Mic drop.
Boom, bitches!
He's sort of undermined by this hostage situation happening in the background, but otherwise, mic drop.
Yeah. I kind of wish he'd have dropped that mic during a situation where it wasn't going to backfire on him, because
this doesn't just backfire. It's kind of like nuclear explosion.
Yeah, it validates Jonathan's kind of opinions towards him. Whereas there have been plenty of times in the past where a mic drop in that situation would have been perfect, and it wouldn't have validated Jonathan's.
And it's too bad Lex does it here and now when it's not the right time.
Oh, thank you, Dale. That's a lovely message there. Real quick, I wanted to thank you guys for being awesome as always and being a source of inspiration for me to be like you guys and others. Thank you. I wouldn't rush to be too much like me right now, because it's a whole lot of crazy to deal with for anyone, quite frankly. Be your own person. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do. I really like that mic drop. I felt like it had been a long time coming. And like I say, it's just a shame it's kind of undermined by the fact that he's made a big cock up with his dad.
Yeah.
But so in that moment as well, Jonathan does tell Clark that it's not up to him to fix everything and that he should stay out, which again is really feeding into a lot of things. One, that kind of child-parent dynamic, which is sometimes easy to forget with these two. But also that Jonathan is at times really, really stubborn. We've said it many times before, and I'm sure we'll say it many times again. It's ingrained in his character. It's part of who he is, which is why, come a few scenes from now, it's really going to hurt to see him have to.
I love that because I love seeing what a good, wholesome man he is and what a good, wholesome family he raises. But you also see good, wholesome people are not perfect. And so the show is not hiding his flaws. And in fact, the flaws get worse, especially in season 5, and I'll go no further. But I like that. I just think it's very real, showing that he is a good man and he's got some pretty big issues to work through, like, all of us here, Dale.
True. I will say that I was definitely like Clark. Always wanted to fix conflicts.
Yes. Well, being the most powerful being on the planet, I kind of understand where his urge to constantly fix everything comes from. And now here's something his powers actually cannot fix. It's kind of like Superman the movie when his dad dies of a heart attack. All of these powers, and I couldn't do anything. And so here all of these
spoilers, dude.
It's the whole movie from 1970 whatever. So here is his parents having relationship issues and all the powers in the world, he can't fix it.
Durbin loves to throw out the biggest spoiler.
He dies in the first 5 minutes of the movie. It's not a spoiler, it moves the plot.
But you love to throw that spoiler out.
It's so old.
It's not an episode unless Durbin spoils
something. And it's not a Smallville episode. It's Superman the movie. We're fine.
Anybody seen Sixth Sense? Go, Durbin. Fight Club? Anyone? Fight Club?
Superman the movie from 1977 is spoiler. That is not a spoiler.
When I was 10, I spoiled that from someone, and they were so pissed. I was like, "Oops!"
What, Sixth Sense?
Yes.
Oh, Sixth Sense. That makes sense.
You'd get disowned as a friend if you did that. Yeah, big time.
Well, that's when I learned not to spoil things. Although some people, I guess, have a hard time with that.
Just bring out the big guns. Sixth Sense, he's dead. Anyway,
Luke, I am your father.
Right. Okay. So the goons, as I'm going to call them, that have broken into Luther Court Plaza, they try breaking into Lionel's vault, and they do such a really crappy job of it that if Lionel even wanted to open it now, but with a password or whatever, he couldn't, because they basically cut the lock up, the mechanism on the lock. So when Lionel is brought in, he sounds a panic button that he's carrying that alerts the police, and then one goon kills another just because, just because he's evil.
If you kept to the plan, none of this would have happened.
Show me how evil goes again, Brian. I didn't quite catch that.
Doctor Evil.
Yeah. That was a dumb move. I mean, honestly.
It really was. It's like you just escalated the situation from.
But he didn't want to hear that annoying former leader of the gang talk, so shoot him. I want the darn money.
It's just like.
He's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
No,
clearly,
he's not.
Clearly.
He's not the hottest fry in the box.
Yeah.
Let's add murder to our list of
felonies.
Where your hostages see it, so now you can't possibly let them go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Literally everyone in that room now has to die. So
well, why did they take them hostage to begin with? I mean, they were in a different room. That was dumb to begin with.
The idea was not to. I don't know what the idea was.
No, the idea was to get them to open the safe.
Yeah.
But by the time that he'd brought Lionel and Martha into the room, the idiots that were in the room had cocked the safe mechanism up so much that
and
even
Lionel
if
pushed the panic button, so now the cops are involved. So everything escalates in the most out of control way because the new leader is an idiot.
Yeah, the worst plan ever. Let's take hostages. And they didn't have a mask on, nothing,
No.
Yeah, I know COVID, right? Come on.
I know, it makes it much easier for criminals.
So, dumbest criminals ever. Durban spoils the episode. Everyone else, so you've chosen death.
I spoiled a 1977 movie.
77. The first one was 78.
Oh, forgive me.
The second one was like 98. Dude, call yourself a Superman fan. I bet you only have it on DVD. I've got it on DVD and Blu-ray.
I got it on DVD, another DVD copy, a Blu-ray, and a second Blu-ray copy. I don't know why. That's just how that all came together.
Because having more than one copy makes you a bigger fan, I guess.
I guess so.
The more copies you have, just
yes.
Or
well,
just
I mean, when you break one, you have others, so it's good.
It's like starving children in the world, and you've got 4 copies of Superman on DVD. It's like, come on, people.
Right.
Durban, you ever hear of the white elephant, or any of those kind of gift swaps? Maybe it might be a good idea.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if I can part with a single Christopher Reeve film that I own.
What, even Superman 4? Come on, get rid of that bad boy.
My God, I have like 2 copies of that too. So.
Oh! I don't even have 1 copy of that one. That's a monstrosity. Good grief. Nil point. You've just lost all validity and respectability.
I didn't
Sorry.
say I liked it.
That Superman picture on your wall. That Superman picture on your wall. Take that down, sir. No. Take that down. You've no right. Right. Okay. Where are we? Completely losing the plot. That's where we are. Right. So
everybody's a hostage now. That's where we are.
Yeah, everyone's a hostage.
The dumbest criminals ever.
Lana. Oh, it's the other Lana scene. That's why I'm going fuzzy.
Nobody cares. It goes nowhere. Just skip it. Skip it.
Actually does somewhere.
Pivot. So it's like
to build up to the further plot this season with that.
Would that be that plot that goes nowhere because Henry Small just disappears? Yeah. We'll skip it. So Lana has a scene. It happens, and we move on to the actual plot.
Well, I don't know if she's really a stepmom because she's not actually officially part of the family.
It doesn't matter because she doesn't even have a role to play going forward in this show.
But why would you say that? I mean, this woman is
she's a jerk, really.
Terrible.
In all fairness, right? This is the writer's get out of jail free card because they are planting the seed here that Henry Small is a guy who gets fixated on something and then drops it and leaves. So the fact that we never see him after season 2 is literally the self-fulfillment of this woman's prophecy. She was right. She's actually a hero here. She is trying to save Lana some grief.
Yep.
Now we never actually get to see that in action in the sense that it's something that's dealt with. But there you go. Anyway, next scene. Yeah.
The way she said it was just
awkward.
No empathy at all for us. It just came off as, I don't want you in my life, get out of here, and that kind of continues. So
the best moment of that scene is when Henry Small comes back with the drinks and he's like, so what are you girls talking about? And they both look at each other and go, and it's just like, your next question then, Henry, is like, bitch, what did you say? Come on! It's just clearly something has been said there that shouldn't have been said because they are far too quiet, especially for two women. Anyway, right.
I didn't say it.
Yeah, you're one to talk, Brian.
Anyway,
black.
Yeah, definitely. Right, okay. So Clark and Jonathan catch the news, and Clark. Well, I'm just going to play the clip because this is. I've got something to say.
I'm not going to try and stop you, but I want you to be careful. I'm going to follow you in the truck. I'll get there just as soon as I can.
Dad, there's a faster way for you to get to Metropolis. You just have to talk to Lex.
Or maybe you could just super speed him there and carry him yourself, because he would be there in the 5 minutes that it takes you to get there.
5 minutes? I don't think it takes him 5 minutes.
Yeah, about 50 seconds, right?
It depends what season you're in.
Yeah, that's true.
How did you get here so quick? So
they needed an explanation. Well, they didn't need an explanation how Clark got there, though.
Yeah,
I guess if you're really stretching, you could say he wanted Clark to go alone in case Clark could get there and get in the building, which my theory then is Clark should never have stopped running and looked around and gone, how can I get in here? Because that's how he got his butt caught. He should have kept on running faster than a speeding bullet and just ran right through in and up. But he's a teenager. They don't think it through.
It's a common problem in this show where he runs real fast, then he stops.
Yes.
Yeah.
He looks around.
And then he goes.
It's like, what? You have to stop your super speed to look around?
We've established so many times, I think even by this point, how the world slows down around him at that speed and how he can, in that speed, stop, look around, and think. Yeah. There was no reason for him to stop running.
But they do this all the time.
Yeah.
So you just gotta let it go.
It's a trope that you do have to let it go. There are certain tropes within any given show, like Mulder and Scully going into a darkened room with some torches instead of just flipping the lights on.
Well, that's every
that's just that's just like, that happens every episode of X-Files. You just got to get over it. You can't mark an episode down because of that particular trope. It's just something you have to accept.
Just like in Smallville, everyone gets knocked out super easy at the exact right time, and they come back up at the exact right time. And I could say there's still some in Stargate too.
There is literally an episode of Smallville where Clark heats up somebody's gun with his heat vision.
Yes.
And then the person falls back and is knocked out.
Yes.
Okay, that's at the start of season 5, I think.
Oh, okay. What you're talking about. Yeah.
Devoted.
Yes. So he heats his gun up. The guy gets his hands burnt, and then he just falls to the floor, knocked out, and he's just like, what? So yeah.
But on the other hand, it leads to a great moment because he stopped running. I'll leave it there.
But I think there's no excuse for not having run Jonathan there, because they're watching the news, they're sat down, they're doing various things, so one can assume that it's been a while since Lex left. They've been mulling about the house a bit, stuff's been going on, so you could say that straight after Lex left, Jonathan, with his dogged determination, went straight to Lionel's office with the intention of pulling his wife out so that they could go on their anniversary date. That's all they had to say.
It's a 3-hour trip, though, right now.
In season 2.
It's still 3 hours. Still 3 hours.
Supposedly.
There wasn't magic put in yet that made it only half an hour. But here's something. He hasn't yet ran anyone anywhere. So do you think that maybe that's why? Is that maybe he doesn't even know that he can do that?
Maybe.
When was Ryan? When was that one?
Oh yeah. Well, there's
Ryan's
2 with Ryan because he's in season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
And I don't remember which one he ran with Ryan.
Which is the one where he runs with Ryan to get him?
Well, that's season 2 for the brain stuff. Like that's when he's like running across country to whatever city. Like that was
no, but he wasn't running with somebody.
Anybody. Yeah, he was alone.
Yeah. So
what a huge
I don't know. We haven't seen him run. I think the first time that he ran with someone was in Arctic.
Yeah, with Chloe. When he was getting her out of there.
Oh yeah.
Spoiler.
So
Nicole.
maybe it's just
Spoiler.
I just said the episode name. That's all I said. You are the one that
said he ran with Chloe.
I didn't say who he
what
ran
he
with.
needs. What he needs to do is he needs to hold them under the back of the legs so that the knees are up. Put the head back against his chest so that when he runs, it doesn't snap the neck back.
We're analyzing how Clark should run with people. This is a 3-hour-long podcast.
Oh man, this is grade A geek kind of culture. This is like nerdgasm overdrive. Seriously.
Oh my god!
He manages to run with Lois while she's carrying her suitcase in Patriot.
That's way long time. That's when he knew that it was safe to run with people.
That is true.
I feel like he might be afraid to run with someone because it could kill them. I mean, let's be realistic. If Superman didn't have his special aura, which he doesn't know, and that's what the assumption is, that's why he can run with people and not kill them. I could see that could be the reason why he didn't run with people yet, and that the only time that he finally ran with someone when there was no other choice. That's the first time that we see him run with someone. There was no other way to save her, except maybe with his heat vision. But even that would have been a little. It would have still been a problem. All right, if they blocked. All right, so. Maybe that's also why he hesitates before he runs with her, too. He does hesitate. So that's what I'm going to say to you, Brian. I fixed your plot hole. Done.
Okay.
Well, why did he stop running? Or why did he stop running? He should have kept going. Anyway, let's go on.
You know what he could have done? He could have put Jonathan in the car and then just push the car and run really fast.
Thing, right? Put him in the car and push the truck.
Well, actually, some people wonder if which I think is a hilarious image, is if he ever runs with the truck to Metropolis.
just so he's got it there. But he's like,
yes,
yeah, because he needs an explanation of how he got there, right?
You know what? If I was Clark and I had to think that through, I would do it. I'd pick up the truck, super speed, set it down, and
yeah. It's like, dude, how did you get here so fast? So, use the truck. Hello.
There is more, right? Like a lot of little things you have to put in the truck, so could be useful.
I said nothing. I'm just saying that. I didn't say anything to trigger it.
Oh, my button's going crazy. Right.
Run? He runs with someone and Run.
Hey, what?
I don't remember him running with anyone in Run.
No, he runs alongside, but he doesn't. He doesn't carry them.
Yeah,
the whole point is that if he carries them, he's going to snap their neck. I mean, that doesn't stop him catching someone who's just fallen 50 feet, and
Right.
But semantics, whatever.
He goes like this, He's slowly like
suspension.
Thanks to the Snyder cut, I have a different picture in my head of how that could work in super speed.
Oh man, God bless the Snyder cut.
Yes. Thank you,
I think that sometimes maybe he has a hard time thinking. Maybe he feels like he has to stop and look around.
He might. I don't know. Yeah, it's a little thing, and I like where we end up going with it because he does stop. But yeah.
Yes. All right, let's go.
Anyway,
I know we gotta keep going. We haven't even gotten to the
moving
good
on.
part.
Oh man, alive! 50 minutes in.
Brian, skip to the good stuff.
I think we're at least halfway. We're halfway through the clips anyway, so
Let's do this. Come on, Brian.
Cooking on gas, guys. Cooking on gas. Right. So basically, Lex phones the goons to be like, dudes.
Well, we gotta play the clip about when Clark gets caught, right?
Did that happen?
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there. We're just talking about it.
Because first we've got Mr. Pride himself, Jonathan Kent, having to go to Lex and ask him for the helicopter.
Lex, I was wondering.
And Lex letting him squirm, just like at the beginning with that worker. He just, go ahead, Jonathan. I'll give you a helicopter, but squirm for a little bit.
I want to hear you say it. Come on.
Michael was the one that made him squirm, by the way. That wasn't originally in the script like that.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Another little behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That's really kind of cool.
Rosenboom there, proving himself as really great actor.
I like watching the season 2 bloopers and seeing super serious Lex Luthor be the goofiest dude on set.
Farting in a straitjacket in season 3. Yeah. That's
doing his Austin Powers dance down the aisle of that jet plane like it's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's a character.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
That's for sure.
So I really like that scene just because it's good to see Lex having a bit of one-upmanship on and seeing Jonathan having to swallow his pride and not quite getting there really, because he doesn't actually swallow his pride, because he doesn't get to the point where he asks.
Off the hook, but he makes it squirm for a little bit.
Big time.
Yeah.
Anyway, Clark rushes to Metropolis
and stops.
and stops. looks for a way. I mean, seriously. How many times has he been to Luthor Corp Plaza?
I know!
Seriously. The dude knows that building now. I'm pretty sure.
He hasn't been there much yet, has he? I mean...
Even if he's been there once, he knows the entrance. He knows how to get in. I'm pretty sure... Is this the first time? I could be talking nonsense. This is the problem when we do the episodes out of sync.
It's his first time ever setting foot inside the Daily Planet and being on the Daily Planet's roof.
That's for sure. It's the first time we see that.
I'm not sure that it's his first time at Luthor Corp, but it's very early on. So, he hasn't been there.
If he has been there, it hasn't been there much.
And even if he hasn't, again, super speed, can run through that entrance, check things in a microsecond and be down any entrance he wants to go.
Well, he would have had to break the door to go.
Yeah, but he goes so fast, by the time they realize the door is broken, they'd be unconscious. Like, he could do that. We've seen him do that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know where they are.
No,
but
he can look really, really fast. So it might, granted, take 2 seconds instead of a millisecond, but it would still be enough time that he can knock them out.
Can he do X-ray vision and super speed at the same time?
I don't know. After what we saw in the beginning where he picks that one little spot, I don't know.
Yeah, come on. It's like he knows the building is pretty much empty other than the terrorists and his mum and Lionel. All he's got to do is just scan the building. There they are.
He still doesn't do that when he gets in the building. So he's...
Because he's an idiot!
Yeah. I was
idiot.
watching it an hour ago, and I'm thinking that. I was like, Clark, why aren't you already where your mom is? Why are you pulling the power? Like, we can get to this later, but...
Well, hold on, guys. Let's take a step back for a second, all right? We know what we should do because we've seen the episode. We understand the scenario. But remember, this kid just found out that his mom's in a hostage situation.
It's true.
He didn't stop and formulate a plan and think about what he's going to do. I mean, he runs in there, without that's another one of Clark's problems, right? I mean, he doesn't go in with any strategy, right? He runs there and then he's like, oh shit, how am I going to get in there? It's surrounded, and he stops and he's going to go through, I don't know, the sewer or something. And so he may not, he's not in a good emotional state to make good decisions. I mean, think we've all been there, right? Like when you're really upset, you don't.
Yeah, but I don't have X-ray vision and super speed. I can't just run up to. I can't get to a building and go. There he is, straight up, boom. It's like
that doesn't solve the problem of being in a poor emotional state where you're not really thinking clearly, though.
There is truth to what you're saying, and it's a good way as Smallville fans to look at it and explain why he stopped and decided
you want to gloss over
was a good idea. But it's hard because even before, he matures as everything goes on, and yet we see how he processes, we see how he thinks. We've seen him many times in super speed mode, stop in super speed mode, look around in super speed mode, formulate something and do something. And there's that part of me that I agree with you 100%, and yet I go, why couldn't you do that here, Clark?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when have we seen him do it thus far, though? This is really early, right? We're in early season 2. Like, let's take the party, for example. He wasn't in an emotional state, He was just kind of like there's a party going on, so it's much easier for your brain works better.
Right.
So I don't know that there's been a lot of scenarios where he's done it yet.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't think he's at that mature. He's only supposed to be 15 or 16 at this point.
But also, we did have Phelan in season 1 shoot at him. Clark sees the bullet, thinks about it, stands in the bullet's way, moves out of its way, goes back in its way, moves out of its way again, and then leaves before anybody realized what had happened. And so there's at least
and
then
where
he's processing.
And then in 2 seasons later, when there's a hostage situation in the hospital, a bullet comes through the window, and Clark...
This is not me.
Clark doesn't have the time, to jump in the way of it and save someone's life. It's like, he doesn't do the, super speed, there's the bullet, look at it go. Hello, bullet. I think I'll take you, thank you, good night. No, he's just like, that guy's dead. Oh, well. It's just...
But then there's another scene where he hesitates to save Lex in super speed and debates about it and then saves him.
I am telling you.
Like he had time to debate in super speed.
I'm sure there are times in your own life where you look back and been like, well, why didn't I just do that? But
I don't have superpowers.
But you could have still done your non-superpowered thing to do that, and you didn't. Hindsight 2020. It's much easier for us to say that looking on than it is for someone that's in the moment. Maybe he didn't even know there was someone there that was going to be shot.
And you know what? I have to give you the truth in that because I love this episode and I love this season a lot. And there's a lot of great stuff that happens this episode. So really, this is all one gigantic nitpick that we've been on for about 15 minutes. And in reality, it's like, it's kind of dumb, but Nicole has a very good point. He was not in an emotional state. His mom is a hostage. Yeah, let's move on.
The situation only really escalates when they see the clip of his mum at gunpoint being held hostage at the window. It's then when he decides to make the leap.
Yep. And that's a really good scene.
Yeah, we got to get to that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Eventually.
We'll get there when we get. Okay, so Clark is trying to break into the building. He's trying to go in the sewers. Have we seen this clip?
No.
Do we care right now?
You know what? Move on. He gets
Move on. We've just talked. He gets caught by Maggie's side.
We've spent time on it. Clark, stop.
Hold still. Keep your fingers licked. I'm listening.
My name is Clark Kent. My mom is one of the hostages being held up there.
You thought you'd play hero?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He did. But let's say this, that I always find it interesting in these situations where he's at gunpoint and he has to act like he's afraid.
Yep. And he does know he's bulletproof at this time. So, yeah, he really is acting like he's afraid.
Well, he probably doesn't want to be in trouble. I mean, that's probably part of it.
But he's also actually afraid for his mother. So this is probably not very hard for him to be in that state of mind.
True.
And this is the introduction, I believe, of
and he was
Maddie
just
Sawyer.
felt up by a cop, so.
Who in Superman and Lois, her son gets kidnapped by Morgan Edge. So, you know, there's that.
Yep. Connection.
Yeah, that's the cop from Superman and Lois. I mean, this is the character that's in Superman and Lois.
Moving on. What's next? Are we too much inside the safe yet? Because that's interesting.
Right. So we've got.
We still have so much more to talk about.
Right. So we have a scene in which Lionel tries to identify with or comfort Martha, and it's just.
No, he's being sleazy again.
It's a bit weird. Just watch it. Just watch it. Just watch it.
It's just that Jonathan and I left on such bad terms.
It's ironic. I had quite a row this morning, too, with Lex.
How's that ironic?
I don't know, but he's so confident in that scene. Like, he's not worried that he's a hostage. He's like, this is the millionth time I've been through this, so Martha, we're really going to bond in this moment. It's going to be great when we get out of here.
He's saying it's ironic because both of them had a bad conversation or are in a fight with the person that they care about most in the world. Now, Lionel does care most about Lex than probably anyone else, even though he's a complete jackass about it. But that's what he's, and now that they might die, and that could be the last word that they ever say to those people. And so, and that happens a few times in this series where Lionel's like, wow, Lex, almost dies, or he almost dies, and he realizes, he kind of has a coming to Jesus moment a little bit about, maybe I should actually say that I love my son. So I think, though, this is a good thing for everyone in the audience to think about. What's the last thing you said to the people that you love? Or have you ever been angry and left on bad terms? And it's a good reminder for everyone that even when you're in a fight, it's good to at least have some good last words.
I agree. And Smallville always does a good job, having that message without preaching it, but you see it, and it's really good.
And that's what I really liked about that scene, apart from trying to ignore the real sleaze that was going on with Lionel. He was
he is being
creepy.
sleazy, but you're right about the message, because that message is ever present, and it is a little bit of a good moment for Lionel, because I gotta think there's some genuineness there with Lex. But Lionel's one of those characters who could be genuine about how, man, I left on bad terms with my son. Maybe I need to tell him I love him, while sleazily still trying to seduce Martha. He is that type of dude.
He's always got multiple agendas.
Exactly.
And it's not necessarily that one of those agendas takes precedence. It's just that he's a multifaceted kind of guy he's got a lot of things that he wants to get done, and he's quite happy to do them all at
managing
once.
To smile, he's talking to her, and did you notice there's a little bit of a smile on his face? And I'm like, you are at gunpoint, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
I love John Glover. He's so good.
I love this character though, because he's so multifaceted.
Man. Yeah.
Interesting villain, really interesting.
All future Superman stories post Smallville sometimes struggle for me without this type of dynamic, without a character like Lionel Luthor, because John Glover and Lex Luthor, that dynamic is so unique amongst all Superman lore. It's hard to not think about it anytime you go anywhere else with Superman stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So the goons managed to get into the safe where they find refined meteor rock. So it looks like, you know,
Gold
Fort
bars.
Knox, Knox gold bars, but they're meteor rock instead. Along with, you know, files and a certain octagonal disc, and you know, it's like
the heat of the ship. Don't you love Martha's looks at Lionel? Like, as each little thing is pulled out, she like shoots him these dirty, filthy looks, and it's like, what the F?
I actually prefer Lionel's looks, but not looks back when he's like,
yes.
He's just stroking his beard. Okay. So Jonathan relieves Clark from Sawyer's custody, and then Lex.
Oh, we're only there. Okay. Keep going.
Lex asks for an update. So here's a scene.
Thinking about jumping. It's the only way. Clark, that's got to be over 200 feet. How'd you make it? You don't know that. Besides, don't you have a fear of heights?
If we're not here to get Mom out, then why are we here?
I love that moment so much. And isn't that right after the moment you just mentioned, Lisa? Isn't what you just mentioned, like, what triggered that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I half expected a tumbleweed to go blowing past them. It's just like,
yeah, I think that right before that clip, that was the first shot we get of the Daily Planet on the show.
Yeah, I think so.
And we get an establishment, which a lot of people forget, including my husband, that the Daily Planet is across the street from Luthor Corp.
And it always remains that way all through the rest of the show. Like, you know, while Metropolis is sometimes 45 minutes away from Smallville, sometimes 3 hours away from Smallville, Luthor Corp and Daily Planet are always across the street.
Although sometimes it takes 5 minutes to get there, sometimes it takes 2 hours.
Oh, time. What does it mean in a TV show?
So yeah, so
Is it day? Is it night? You know, is it the next day?
So Clark's told Jonathan his crazy ass plan, which, you know, he's super powered. It doesn't really sound that crazy. It's like, Jonathan, chillax.
Well,
come on. He's done worse stuff.
I do have something to say. I don't know if you guys. I've actually worked in an office building in Boston, or in the financial district. Okay, it's all windows. A couple.
Oh, you're one of those people.
I'm one of those people. I don't anymore. I'm not, but I did for a while. Those windows are like walls. Okay, this is not like your window that you have in your house. This is like the glass is about 4 or 5 inches thick. Okay, do you know how hard it would be to break that glass?
Well, I've seen John McClane try to kick it in Die Hard. It's going nowhere with that bad boy. He has to get a fire hydrant to go through it.
That this is some physics that just is always blown away in every TV show and movie. But whenever I see that, I go, that window's not breaking, even with.
Well, unless you can move faster than a speeding bullet, and you yourself can be unbreakable. Maybe if you have those two things, you can break.
I feel like I should go into it at first. So I just.
Too bad that he didn't know he could jump up either, you know, like he just comes across instead of like woo to the roof.
So yeah,
kind of dramatic.
Anyway.
But anyway, that's all. But I do like that they brought back his fear of heights, though, and that you know Clark's doing something that's scary. Remember, everybody's looking too. So if he screws up, or if he can't jump far, he doesn't know how far he can jump. He's not like he hasn't tested his jumping apparently at all.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know how far he could jump. He doesn't know what would happen when he got there. And if he screws up, he's going to be on the ground in the middle of cops and news crew and everything else. So he is taking a risk here.
Again, though, super speed. Super speed.
Oh.
Super speed.
You feel super speed when you're falling, okay? Falling is still.
He can still speed in the front door.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it just as soon as he hits the deck, it's gone. It's like he was that guy. He just hit the deck then. But nobody saw nothing. Anyway, let's not have another 20-minute tirade on superpowers and their ineffectual abilities. Anyway, so. The lead goon, and yeah, I do like that as a band name. It's got to be said. It's just if I ever start up a band,
yes.
Yeah, if I ever start up a band, I'm calling it Lionel and the Goons, and yeah, there you go.
That's a good
one. So they see. So the goons basically bring Martha to the window, and I want to shoot her if you don't get my chopper here in 10 minutes or whatever. And then Clark decides, right, no messing about now. I'm doing the jump. So he goes up, and he does the jump.
Oh, that's so awesome.
The birds were a nice touch. I like seeing the birds just flapping along. Yeah, I remember seeing this for the first time, and I was just hooked because it's like, go Clark, leap that tall building in a single bound.
It's just going to make him go further.
Yeah.
And his legs going as well.
I honestly think that's the flail of, oh crap! Oh crap! And like if you look at his face, like that's what it is. It's that.
It's like,
I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, this was a mistake.
Yeah, just expected to splat on the window and go.
Like a bird.
Good thing he's faster than a speeding bullet and
with his
himself, and he went right through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, they make sure we're there in on this universe. No, that was great. I love the build up, and I like how before they did that, they had a moment with him looking over the edge and being afraid,
Yeah.
of heights, and so that he is really, being a hero here. He was really afraid, and bravery is not the absence of fear. Mm-hmm. It's doing something in spite of it.
How often do you have Superman moments where Superman sees the danger and it makes him nervous? It's not that often, and so this is a great moment in Smallville as he's learning who he is, and he's like, "This could go really bad or really good. Oh crap, here we go."
Because as powerful as Clark is, like even at this point, there hasn't really been a time when he's fallen from a 200-story building.
Yeah.
So. Who knows what's going to happen? It's like,
well, Clark doesn't seem to test himself. Only under extreme circumstances.
Yeah,
just coasts through life. with his superpowers. Works on the farm, pines over Lana through his telescope.
He has fun playing basketball, though. He did some jumps there.
Yeah. Okay, so, while all this has kind of been going on, Lex has been on the old blower, as we say over here in the UK, to the goons, and he's like, we need to work something out. I'll pay you a load of money if you just pick all that crap up, put it in a box somewhere, and get the hell out of there. And then Lionel makes a better offer, which kind of really annoys Lex. And he says something on the phone, which, unfortunately, Jonathan overhears.
If I find out that you had anything to do with what's going on out here, you will pray to God you never set foot in Smallville. You believe me.
At that point, I'm more afraid of Jonathan Kent than I am of Lionel Luthor.
So there was, I feel like we missed a clip. Did we, Brian? That's what I was
there was a clip when they dropped the files on the floor, but we'd kind of already talked about it, so I didn't.
So the reason why I wanted to show that clip, because we were asking earlier about is Lionel blind, and
so the one clip that I avoid is the one time you were waiting for that question to be asked. Okay, so
that's why I wanted to play that clip specifically to ask that question. When you watch this clip, did Lionel see anything?
But before we go there, because we've already just played this clip, let's talk about it, if we've got anything else to say.
It's actually immediately after this clip where Martha spots the files. After they make the...
so we're still in the right order, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway, it's a hard scene to watch, this one between Jonathan and Lex, because as someone who kind of championed Lex for actually sticking it to the man for once, I kind of feel like that mic that he dropped earlier, he's now kind of...
Where'd it go?
I'll just go over here. That's pretty much what he's just had to do there. He's picked his mic back up and he's now going to have to wait for another opportunity.
No, I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah. So it's just, I feel sorry for the guy. I feel sorry for him.
This is one of those times, though, where someone says the truth without saying the whole truth. What he said was true. He just leaves out a part.
Right. That's a Luther trait, right? Luther trait.
He does that all the
Clark
time.
trait, too.
That's true. Yes. Yeah, we can't forget that is also a Clark trait.
Yeah. Lex is just taking a page out of the Kent handbook, you might say.
This is getting hard. Hey, let's get to that Lionel is blind thing.
Right, okay. Here we go.
Check this out.
Just rub my beard. And then there's something else that goes along with that is the scene that comes after the one that we just talked about, where Clark bursts in and kind of tries to deal with the situation. Throws him 20 feet because,
Yep.
Why not? But so Lionel, is he blind?
I have a theory, and my theory is at this point he is still blind, because I think the episode where he gets his sight back, it's either the next episode or the episode after, where Jonathan is yet again framed for murder, and he's Lionel's been shot, falls down over the thing, hits the table, he's injured, and he's in the hospital. Because it's after that episode, a few episodes later, we get the reveal that he can see, and he calls him miraculous and all of that. But I feel like that's when he got his eyesight back, because that was another severe injury, that he hit his head when he fell, another huge hospitalization and all this stuff that happened. So to me, if there was ever a time when he would gain back his vision, that would be it. Now,
when you get re-injured?
Now, it's because everything's being freshly opened up again.
It's like the old amnesia thing. Bang on the head. Ooh, I forgot who I am. Bang on the head.
Smallville?
Hey, I remembered it again.
I mean, that might not be life, but it's not beyond Smallville, and how Smallville has their own logic with humans getting injured, right?
But concussion and a day trip to Smallville General is just an average day in the life of a Smallvillian.
Life and death when whoever actually shot him, and he fell over the balcony, hit a glass table, and it's after that the sheriff, and it's after, I didn't blow that, and it's after that his vision is revealed, that his vision is restored.
That was not necessary, though.
And I think his reactions in this episode is, because even though he's blind, he knows what's in that safe, and he knows if they're pulling it out, Martha's seeing it, so he may not see what they're doing, but he knows what Martha is possibly seeing, and he's trying to hold it together. But I honestly think, and I could be wrong, he got his sight back after Jonathan was yet again framed for shooting somebody.
So here's the thing with Lionel's sight. It could be, honestly, he could be blind. He could have sight. We just don't know. And actually, John Glover didn't even know. So
choose your own adventure. Choose your own adventure. That's what it is.
It could be either way, and that's. So instead of regenerating tissues, it's somehow getting re-injured. That kind of bad.
Well, either
maybe
way,
some
it's
drug
stupid.
that he got, right?
How would he get his eyesight back if he doesn't go back to the hospital and have some operation? When's the next chance he's been majorly injured, been back in the hospital, and had to have a major operation?
Durbin, I didn't know if you knew this, but our bodies do this thing called healing.
Oh no.
It's like, what?
We don't, like, if you break your leg, your leg just doesn't get better after you go to the hospital.
I'm just saying, he was blind, and he was truly, genuinely blind for quite some time. He could have healed naturally. I'm also saying, when you go back into that hospital after you've been knocked again, like, who on this frickin' earth knows? There's this whole movie about a girl who fell in a tree and it cured something that was wrong with her brain. I don't know. I forget what that movie's called. It's got Miracles or something.
Maybe.
The point that I'm getting at is, in Smallville logic, what I'm saying is not far.
It's possible.
In Smallville logic,
all right.
It could work.
I'll give you a plausible. How's that?
Plausible works because even in my theory, he could still be seeing by the episode we're watching now. Like, it could be
that it triggered some extra healing because he was injured.
Knocked something
I do feel like the hour and 20 minutes it took to get to that theory was somewhat anticlimactic, if I'm being perfectly honest.
I didn't try to build it up. I was just saying, in Smallville logic, it's perfectly sound. When he gets shot, goes over a balcony, and they perform all kinds of surgery, that he would be able to see again at that time.
Okay.
Sorry, I just slipped new corneas into your eyes. It was just an accident.
Well,
Sorry,
then if you need new corneas, they're not going to heal naturally. Somehow, he got healed. So, either way, it's ridiculous.
Well, that is the next episode, isn't it? Suspect. It's the one straight after this one.
There we go.
The one where the sheriff shoots him.
Yeah.
Somebody is on my side. And nobody's calling out Brian for spoiling that. Thank you all. Thank you so much, all of you, for not calling him out on spoiling the murder mystery episode where the whole thing is bent on this sucks if it's spoiled. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey,
and then the episode
I warned people at the start of this. The whole show gets back.
And then the episode after that's Prodigal, and we do know in Prodigal his sight is back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere between here and Prodigal. So
thank you, Lisa.
It's guys, it does make sense.
It's suspect. Suspect is suspect.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Man alive. Don't have to get sidetracked on these things. Right. So. Basically, yeah. So Martha saves the day because she throws all the refined meteor rock back into the safe, crushing the main goon's hand at the time, and it's a moment that makes me go, oh, dynamic, because I hate seeing anyone get their hand trapped in a safe or anything like that. It's
not
just
as
one
bad
of those
as
things.
the knife through the hand, but
man, it just I don't know. I think I'd rather have a knife through my hand than have my fingers crushed. Because you get a knife through the hand and it comes out, you got a clean wound there that can heal. Whereas if a big, heavy safe crushes the bones in your fingers,
Smallville logic, it heals without a single bit of physical therapy. It just, for a mortal man, it just. Oh, look at that! The next episode.
Next week, Kiwi.
Not even.
So we didn't talk about, what is in Lionel's safe, right? So, I mean, I know you said it, but in terms of what Lionel's thinking, right? I mean, we know that he has the refined meteor rock because he's doing experiments on plants, or he's doing experiments with meteor rocks.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's interesting that he has that in the same the octagonal disc. So he kind of connects maybe alien things, right? That's what he has in here. Mm-hmm. And he has a folder on Clark in there because he thinks something is odd with.
I wish we saw what was in that folder.
Or maybe he's just got the one vault.
I wish we got to find out what was in the folder.
I think Lionel really does know an awful lot more than he's letting on. He certainly knows that Clark is more than he's letting on, because he was involved with the adoption of Clark, and
he has the crushed bullets.
Yeah,
he kept those.
Yeah, so and that's why when we do eventually get to the whole Veritas thing, even though it is kind of all forced at the last minute, you can make it fit. Just avoid.
And also with the Doomsday episode as well, it's like, oh, you've got the wrong boy. You know, when he lets Davis Bloom go when he's at the mansion.
It's like a tick list of spoilers. Oh,
not me.
I'm not the one that spoils. Just remember,
it wasn't me.
Not me.
It wasn't me.
Durbin finally learned.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, Martha saves the day, crushes the dude's hand, and then Lionel takes him out.
Now, do you think that Lionel learned here that Clark has a weakness? Because he goes down, and then Martha pushes, although he can't see, can he see? Whoa.
Yes. But either way, he could tell there was a hesitation. Clark gung-ho, Clark stopped, and something had to be pushed back in the vault. So either way, whether he sees it or not, you can tell something like that is happening.
Because he could hear the vault door close, right? So
yeah, he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. He knows that. Yeah, yeah.
Can we write this down on possible checklist? He knows Clark's weakness.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We
Maybe
need
he'd have
to
the question mark, right? He'd
probably
need
write
to
it
put
down
stuff
as
down.
this episode, like because there is a reaction there where you can see gears turning in his head during that whole segment, and so I'm wondering, like, is he connecting things? And if he's genuinely blind, like, what is he thinking? How is he trying to connect these things? If he can see, it's going to be easier for him to connect that, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, and the guy said, how'd you do that? So, which is not the first time that he's heard that, because in Red, right?
Yes.
He heard the same thing. So he kind of gets there's some sort of speed going on.
Because in Red, there was invulnerability because the gunshots.
Right, but he also knows something about the speed because he said, like, how do you take the gun? Or he took the gun from the guy.
Yeah.
Really fast, right? So now this is the second clue to the speed. So, yeah, I always wonder as I'm going through, okay, what does Lex and Lionel suspect? What do you think they know? There's probably a lot of questions, you know, where they don't know for sure, but they have an idea.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
Lionel killed someone.
Yeah, Lionel killed someone. Yeah,
it's like Lex killed someone in Vortex.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel out of the ordinary for some reason. But there you go. It just feels natural when Lionel kills someone.
Episode, and when that guy was killed in front of Martha, I went, "Now, is that the first time Martha watched somebody murdered, or is this the 10th time by this point?" I can't remember actually. How many people has she watched murdered by season 2?
So now we don't
know how often she's a witness to it.
I don't know. I think Brian wants to move on with that Popeye look.
we're getting so close to the end, guys. So close to the end. And it's just so there's unfortunately because I only reviewed these clips just like literally half an hour before we came on. We missed a really important clip, which is it's the moment when Lex is left alone. So we have this. I'll just play this moment first.
Clark, how did you get inside? Boy's resourceful. Lex, what difference does it make how he did it? He saved us. That's what's important.
So Clark is then reunited with his parents.
Yes.
And I'll just explain the scene. So he's reunited with his parents, and they're all hugging each other and doing what the Kents do. It's all, lovey-dovey. I want that family. They are the best salt of the earth family of the world. All that kind of stuff. And then Lionel comes and meets up with Lex, and he says, that Lex, I know you're behind it. I know that you're trying to, it's all because I bugged you. You came and tried to bug me. You were behind it all. You just I'll move out of the mansion. Let's just. Basically, he's cutting ties. I'll move out of the mansion. Fine, whatever. And Lex delivers this line where he says, "I'll help you pack." And then the two of them separate. We get the really emo kind of Linkin Park style music kind of playing over the top of him, and Lex is just left there on his own with the Kents kind of walking off, hugging each other. Now, what I love about this scene is that it is almost identical to a scene that happened in the first season.
Shimmer.
Shimmer. And that was a very...
Jitters.
Jitters. Yeah, Jitters. I always call it Shimmer, to be honest. So Jitters was a very similar situation because it was a hostage situation. So, season 1 we had a hostage situation, and that episode ends with pretty much the same ending with those two families, where you see Lex looking at what he doesn't have with his dad. But even in that episode, Lex and Lionel were still able to put on the facade of a loving father and son to the media and stuff. Whereas I feel like the progression here is that now they're not even willing to do that. So it's like they've gone from that place to this place where now they're not even going to bother with platitudes or fakery, or they literally come right out and say, we don't trust each other, we hate each other.
Unfortunately, I really wanted to do that clip, but we would get copyrighted because of the music.
Oh yeah, because it was. I think it was a Linkin Park track, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a great moment. Now the clip that we did play that I was able to get in, and I agree. That just builds up this envy, which we've actually been talking about that in the forum lately. Why did Lex hate Clark, and a lot of it comes from this envy, right? But what I thought was really interesting about that other clip was that Lionel was protecting Clark a little bit.
Yeah.
His secret.
Yeah.
And where earlier we had seen at the end of season 1 in Tempest, and where he was kind of egging, or sometimes we see him like egging on to find out more. But in this particular case, he was, and I don't think he was protecting Clark necessarily to protect Clark, but more as because he didn't want Lex to have the information. So it also kind of goes into this dynamic of the Luthers is, we don't work together. Because if those two worked together, they could have figured out Clark's secret, no problem. But and that's something interesting about this, and the difference between the Kents and the Luthers.
Yeah. What I love about the scene, and they do it so many times with Lex, is the police lights flashing blue to red. And I feel like because they do it so much, and it's not just in this one scene, they do it in so many scenes with Lex Luthor, I feel like it's almost symbolic of the light and dark constantly battling in him. There he is standing alone, and there he is watching the family that he wants, hugging and being happy to see each other, while blue and red, good and evil, battle within his mind in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really great. Yeah, so it's probably my favourite moment, other than the jump across from the Daily Planet. It's probably my favourite moment of the show.
I agree.
Of this episode, I should say. Of the entire show.
218
that's the one. That's the money shot.
Just prior to that scene, then we had Martha telling Clark to burn the files and put it into the octagonal.
Yes, she pocketed it. She put it in.
Which was very interesting when I first saw this episode, and we'll get to it at the last scene when she hides this disc. She doesn't tell them. She doesn't tell them that disc was even found.
But isn't she pregnant?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she is. I forgot about that.
Brian.
She's what? Come on, guys. It's just that's the reason she doesn't tell them, because she's
well.
She says as much later down. No, she says as much later down the line, doesn't she? She says she kept it a secret because she wanted all the stuff with Jor-El. She didn't want to get embroiled into anything with Jor-El at that point because.
Well, I didn't think that's what she said. She said she didn't tell about the pregnancy because she didn't know that didn't want to make it not real. Where I thought that was separate from what she did with the disc. With the disc, she was afraid that if Clark found out his origins, he might leave.
Yeah, maybe.
Which isn't that probably a fear of every adopted parent?
I thought you would say every parent. I was like, so it's not a fear I have, to be honest. Like, I look forward to the day my kids.
What if they met their real parents and ran off? And this is even more extreme because he's an alien. So
yeah.
They brought that fear in, and I didn't think of that when I guess I thought maybe, but I didn't realize that she was, I guess, that insecure or how important that disc was, that she would keep that from them.
Yeah.
Because they were looking for it, and how
it is a pretty big thing to keep, but then you kind of need to hold it off for the season finale, don't you? So she's got to find some nonsense reasons.
Later on in Fever, and in the later episode.
Well, yeah, we have Fever and then Rosetta coming up with the disc. So
those are some of my favorite episodes too.
Right. So final scene. It's kind of two scenes, but I'll just explain them both together so we can get out of this bad boy as quick as possible. It takes you 40 minutes to watch an episode, people, and an hour and a half to talk about it. Right, okay, so I could have watched 2 episodes of Smallville in the time it's taken us to do this. Right, so the Kents are having a chat. Yeah. The Kents are having a chat. Martha has written up a resignation letter. She's going to quit, and then Jonathan does an about turn, and he's like, actually, let's take a page out of the Luther handbook, and you stay in there and spy on them
and
for
it
us.
Goes where, Brian? Nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah, nowhere.
Let's introduce
that really
this
bothered
really cool
me.
thing and never do it.
No,
Let's have her resign 2 episodes later anyway.
No, not even 2 episodes.
I know, it's like the next one. Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh man.
Why say that here and then just he literally turned around and decided completely against it the next day.
Maybe it's the pregnancy. Like maybe it's like that became
no,
the new
Jonathan. It's Jonathan that turned.
The watch. He saw the watch and he got really ticked off.
Yeah, maybe the watch just put him over.
Yeah, which would make sense because as much
in all fairness, in all fairness, she got no business keeping that watch.
No.
Like, come on, woman. You took that home? What?
You take that home.
I would have went
right
right
to
sell it.
pond.
I'm just saying. I would have been like, all right, let's go get us a new tractor.
Yeah. It's like, it's time to go to the pawn shop. Woo!
We spent so much time fixing that tractor. Go get a new one.
Yeah. It's like, how many red vans are we going to get through before the end of this season? Come on. We need a little nest egg here. Little van nest egg. And we end with Martha putting the octagonal disc in flour, the most obvious place you would put an alien artifact, and sticking it
under the kitchen sink.
Under the sink, yeah. Under the kitchen sink, yeah. Okay. Cool beans, Martha. Well
boys
played.
Boys don't do a lot of cooking.
The beginning of this episode, we see Jonathan cooking.
That's
true.
It's
do. Like this episode opens up with Jonathan cooking. So, anyway. Right. Okay. So, scores, people.
What are we doing? Letters, numbers? I forget.
No, we're doing scores out of 5. We do a star system, 5 stars, 1 star to 5 stars, 5-star system. 5 stars being unmissable, must watch. 1 star being I don't ever want to see this episode again. 3 being straight down the line, average, good, kind of solid, but yeah, maybe not.
I only have 1 in the entire series.
And you avoided that bullet this time around, but it will have its day. Right, okay. Durban, score out of 5, go.
5 stars. Season 2 is probably, and I think I put it in my top 5 seasons. That's a go back and review, but I love Season 2. It is one of my favorite seasons of the show, and this is one of the episodes I always look forward to getting to. So in spite of its obvious little flaws and little plot holes here and there, I don't care. I'm so excited to get to this episode every time we get here.
Lisa, scores.
Well, I suggested this episode, so yeah, I'll go for a 5 as well.
Nicole?
Thank you, Lisa.
See, this is really tough for me. Because I feel like a 5 should be like a top 10 of the entire series. But there's so many episodes that I love a little bit more than this. But if I was not to take it on that stand and just say, okay, overall, if I could put this on the same as all the other episodes that I love, I would say 5. But I probably should do like 4.8, but Brian won't let me, so I'll just leave it at that.
If you look at when this episode came out, okay, this is the latest episode. You look at the episodes that have come before it. Within that context, this is a 5-star episode, and it probably is a top 10 episode.
Yeah.
If you look at everything we've had in season 1 and everything before this in season 2, I could very easily put Insurgence in my top 10. When you've got 218 episodes, then it becomes a bit more difficult to crack your top 10. So I don't hold that against it. It's a 5-star episode for me. It does have certain flaws, but they're the kind of flaws that, quite frankly, there isn't a single episode of Smallville where you are not going to find those kind of flaws. It is sci-fi, fantasy, comic book hokum. So... if you want to be really, really objective about it, it's nonsense. But subjectively, I love Superman. I love the character of Clark Kent and everyone in this show. I love the show, and this is the show doing what it does when it does it at its best. Insurgence is a great season 2 episode, so I give it a 5 out of 5.
I agree with all of that.
There we go. So that is it for the show. I do want to just get to one comment. I did notice it before Dale, and I didn't want it to kind of cut into the show. But Dale did ask, odd question, but how did you guys find each other, and what made you decide to create this channel? Which I thought, was a nice question that maybe we might want to answer. So yeah, I was for the longest time I was doing a review for every episode of the show on this Facebook group called Smallville Fans, and like every day I was putting a review up for the next episode, and I can't remember if it was Nicole or Lisa, one of the two. It was Nicole, got in touch with me, I think because of those reviews, realised I was a nutball Smallville fan like she was. And
Lisa too. I think Lisa might have directed.
Yeah.
Well, I think I asked Brian, and then I thought, I saw Durban's videos on YouTube, and I thought, and seeing you guys together, I thought, let's get everyone in.
Yeah. So Lisa messaged me separate, like independently from Nicole. Like those two had already been speaking to each other as fans and friends, kind of off to one side. Then Nicole got in touch with me, probably trying to test the water, see what kind of nutbag I was, and we were on reasonably the same page. And then Lisa messaged me, kind of like I say, separately, and then I think it was Lisa who first came to me with the idea that maybe a podcast might be something we might want to do. And at that point, I was kind of like, it is something I've always wanted to do, I guess. But it didn't kind of fire straight away. But then me and Durban had these top 5, bottom 5s of each season that we'd had planned for ages. We'd said we were going to do it way back when, maybe about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then just because I got into a Smallville watching binge again, and like I say, I was doing these episode reviews on the Smallville fans Facebook group. I was back. My mind was just back into Smallville by that point. So I got in touch with Durban. And I'm like, dude, I'm all the way through season 1 now, just starting season 2. You better get on this so we can do our top 5 bottom 5s. And then he was like, oh crap, the best ad then. So he watched it, and then we did our top 5 bottom 5s. Really enjoyed talking Smallville, and then I think that's when things started to click, and I then introduced Durban to Nicole and Lisa. Lisa had already been watching Durban's videos, and then in the end we just said, shall we do a commentary? And I think it was going to be we were just going to. I think me and Durban at that point didn't necessarily have in mind that this was going to be a podcast we'd then go off and do. We just thought, in our own private kind of, not showing it to the world, just us 4 would get on with each other, watch an episode together and shoot the breeze about Smallville. And we did Lexmas, I believe, was the first one that we did. So we we did a commentary on Lexmas, and I've thought if we are going to video it or whatever, do it on a Skype call. I think we did it on Skype the first time we did it. If we are going to do it, I'll video it, and it might be something that I end up putting up on my channel, whatever, bit of fun, and that's it. But so we did that Lexmas commentary, and I think from that point on we just clicked, and we thought, what, this was fun. This was really good. We enjoyed this. We should do this again, but we should do it properly. We should do, let's pick an episode. And I think we looked at Lexmas, what we'd filmed in that, and we thought, actually, we can't use that because we had the whole episode playing in it, so we would have just got copyright strikes to hell and back from that one. So we jettisoned that, and we said, let's start with another episode, do it properly. And then that became the first episode of the show, and we've been doing it since. But there you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So I met Lisa. I cannot think of this. Lisa on Smallville fans group as well. I was commenting a lot on Brian's reviews, and it was Lisa. And I think that I don't remember who messaged who first, but. We said, I was looking for someone to do a watch party with. I wanted to watch with other people, and I posted it in the Smallville fans, and they refused to approve the post. And I was, I tried twice, and I was like, all right, I guess it must be against the rules. God forbid we want to watch the show with someone on a site dedicated to Smallville. So at that point, I was like, I guess I'll just try direct messaging someone, and I think that's when I just said, "Hey, I noticed that this girl Lisa, she's constantly also replying to posts on Smallville fans. So why don't I just try to message her?" I would try to. I think the first thing I did was just reply to people's comments. Hey, are you interested in doing a watch party? Because that they didn't strike me down for that. I could do that. And then I think Lisa was the first one that said, "Oh yeah, that sounds like fun." I was like, "Oh, that's great." So we started watching the show together privately.
We've been doing it ever since, haven't we?
Oh yeah, we've been doing it ever since. We were doing it daily for a while. And then we said, it'd be really fun to do a podcast, but neither one of us had podcast experience or, knew what we were doing at all. So it was great that Lisa was able to reach out to Brian, who we had started watching the top 5, just watching it and decided to come together. So that's the backstory of the backstory.
And we still do have a regular watch party as well, don't we? But it's more of a girly one.
So since
we don't need to go there.
No,
we don't need to go there.
I
freeze framing Tom Welling when he's not got his shirt in. It's just not of any interest to anyone. Quite frankly.
I was just gonna say I have since gotten together a group of girls where we can, we don't have to worry about we can be
thirsting. Basically, it's basically a thirsting club. Yeah,
where we play bingo while we're playing, and sometimes we add some alcohol.
Nicholas on the tequila.
And
I can promise all of you who are watching that will never happen on this show. No bingo. No.
That's just a fun party. So if there is any other Smallville fans, it's a girls group or so, same. You can message us and join in on it.
Me and Durbin are going to set up a manly man group for Smallville.
Lisa and I
Smallville men.
Way down for this
season
show.
After Lana's gone. That's
Going to start the season after Lana's gone. And the first episode, actually, we're going to watch the one where Lois gets in the striptease kind of. It's just, a few freeze frames and all that, but whatever. I assure you that is not the kind of behaviour I partake in.
No, we don't do that on this show. That's,
That's for private use.
That's for private use. This show's very toned down.
Not always thirsty,
Yeah, because you're not always watching Smallville, so you do have other things to do in your day, I guess. But
sometimes I watch The Fog.
Anyway, so at 1 hour and 50 minutes, I believe that brings us to the close. So fun times. But I'll just throw that up there one more time because why not?
Why not?
It's just why I've got it. I may as well use it. But it's
true.
Right. Okay. So, on that note, we shall bid you all adieu. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time with another episode, which we will get you to vote on. Look out for that. We will put a poll up on my channel because it seemed to work well last time, so I figure why not do it again. Each one of us will pick an episode. We'll throw it up on my channel for a poll. Look out for it on Brian Lomax Movie Talk, and we will see you on the next episode, whatever that might be.